Now that we have covered our first look into political parties and ideologies in politics, it is time for us to turn our attention towards the various parts of who is who in the Canadian government, the branches, and so on. So, this is our look into a guide into the Canadian government. To start, essentially, when you're looking at the overall structure and layout of the Canadian government, you will notice that there are three branches, and this is because Canada is a constitutional monarchy. The Prime Minister is the leader of the government, but technically the actual head of state is the Queen, which is, or King, um, who is usually represented by an appointed Governor General. America, as an example, is not a constitutional monarchy, they are a republic. In this type of organization, there are three branches: executive, legislative, and then judiciary. Now, the executive branch consists of the following positions: the Governor General, the Prime Minister, and the Cabinet. And generally, the executive branch role is to carry out and enforce the laws set down from the federal government. The federal government is the government of Canada. Hence, it is the highest level of authority in the entire Canadian system. However, there are three levels of government in Canada, which is federal, provincial, and municipal. The Governor General is an appointed position. The Governor General is not an elected position. And this is because the Governor General is ceremonial. He or she will sign bills into law once it's been passed in the House of Commons and the Senate. The Governor General can read a throne speech, entertain dignitaries, and carry out other sort of formal matters. Currently, the last Governor General of Canada was Julie Payette, a fascinating individual for one reason alone: she'd been to space. However, there's been some controversies around her for a while, and so she has relinquished her title. So right now, the government is searching for a new replacement for the job. If the Governor General represents the head of the state, being the country, the Prime Minister is the leader, the elected leader of the government, the elected leader of the political party that wins the election. And the Prime Minister will appoint the Governor General. Prime Minister appoints senators when there's a vacancy. But the Prime Minister runs the entire bureaucracy of the Canadian government. Bureaucracy being all the people that work for the government. And you'd be surprised how many people that is. It is arguably the biggest employer in this country. The Prime Minister can dissolve Parliament. It's the leader of the House of Commons, leader of the government, visionary, statesman, planner. It's a rather important position. And also, Prime Minister is the leader of the political party that won the election. The Prime Minister also leads the Cabinet. And the Cabinet are a select group of ministers, politicians, that the Prime Minister has given a particular portfolio or special job to. To be a cabinet position, whether it's provincial or federal, is a very elite and important position because this is where governments will make their major policies or decisions. At the federal level, this can be finance, defense, foreign ministry, Aboriginal affairs, agriculture, and so on. These are very, very important. It also comes with a very good pay raise. So the executive branch is there to carry out and enforce the laws of the land. The second branch, the legislative, has the Queen, House of Commons, and the Senate. Now, the House of Commons is the only elected body in the entire Canadian system. The House of Commons is also for the Prime Minister. Each member is elected into office by various constituencies or ridings throughout the entire country. A member of the seats for each province gets a House of Commons to correspond with the province's shared population. As you can see in the photo, every green seat represents a riding or constituency in Canada. And typically, a constituency tends to be around 100,000 people. Currently, in 2021, there are 338 seats in the House of Commons. And because this is an elected body, the House is referred to as the lower level of government. But the House's job is to pass new bills into laws, vote on a budget, mail deployment, and to debate on various national and international events that will require Canada to have official stance on. Kind of interesting, right? Our flag, the leaf, has been our national flag since 1965 to replace the Union Jack. Now, to stay on course, then comes the Senate. The Senate is not an elected position. Senators are appointed by the Prime Minister when there is a vacancy. The Senate is viewed as a upper chamber because it's supposed to bring a sober second thought to everything that the House will vote on. Because while you might have political party ideologies in the Senate, it is not bound by those parties. It is not bound by also by elections there. And so those who are appointed to the Senate will remain there into retirement. The Senate being an upper chamber, being more elite, calmer location, has only 105 seats. But there is still ongoing debate whether the Senate should be kept or be changed in some way, such as either abolishing it altogether or turning it into an elected body. Currently, while this has been talked about, there is not the political appetite to pursue this. Third and finally, for the branches is the judiciary, and this is essentially the courts: Supreme Court, federal courts, provincial courts, Court of Appeal, so on. Federal court can deal with serious criminal cases, not civil. But the judiciary is essentially the courts. Whereas provincial court can be there for settle civil disputes, law breaking, but essentially there are two types of laws, three actually: constitution, criminal, and civil. And that's our opening look into who is who and the three branches in the Canadian governmental system.